Cory Booker and Kamala Harris, because Cory Booker, I think, is going to try to run for president again. He ran in 2020 in the primary. He's going to try to run for president again. I also think that's why he decided not to take any PAC money now.
Well, what do you mean? Don't think it's been my personal
because he sees it's unpopular to take money from the Israeli lobby now.
Since you bring it up. My personal experience is that my 3 children,
Kamala Harris, it looks like she might be gearing up to try to run again too.
I can't let them watch anything on Netflix unless
and I just want to remind people,
because I don't
when
have
we go back,
confidence in
because
what's
people
on your
wonder,
platform.
well, would Kamala have done things differently? Kamala Harris,
being
and
pushed
as much as people don't really want to admit it, with the exception of the abortion issue,
to discuss it with them.
Kamala Harris ran a right-wing campaign.
And I, frankly, on behalf of parents around
she ran to the right on immigration.
Netflix is pushing
she ran to the right on
what seems to be a
war.
very coordinated,
She campaigned. She had Liz Cheney part of her campaign.
In a way that, frankly,
she was part of the neocons. So, just a reminder of what this was. Wayne said Trump is so disappointing that many are now saying even Kamala would have been better. That isn't the case, though. We would be in the same place. Just look at this clip from the presidential debate. The only thing they both ever agreed on was their love for Israel. Listen to this.
About Israel, all of a sudden, she hates Israel. She wouldn't even meet with Netanyahu when he went to Congress to make a very important speech. She refused to be there because she was at a sorority party of hers. She wanted to go to the sorority party. She hates Israel. If she's president, I believe that Israel will not exist within 2 years from now. And I've been pretty good at predictions, and I hope I'm wrong about that one. She hates Israel. At the same time, in her own way, she hates the Arab population because the whole place is going to get blown up. Arabs, Jewish people, Israel will be gone. It would have never happened. Iran was broke under Donald Trump. Now Iran has $300 billion because they took off all the sanctions that I had. Iran had no money for Hamas or Hezbollah or any of the 28 different spheres of terror. And they are spheres of terror, horrible terror. They had no money. There was a big story, and you know it. You covered it very well, actually. They had no money for terror. They were broke. Now they're a rich nation. And now what they're doing is they're spreading that money around. Look at what's happening with the Houthis and Yemen. Look at what's going on in the Middle East. This would have never happened. I will get that settled and fast, and I'll get the war with Ukraine and Russia ended. If I'm president-elect, I'll get it done before even becoming president.
So that was a lie. Number one, Iran wasn't broke even when he was president. So this was a bunch of lies.
That's absolutely not true. I have my entire career and life supported Israel and the Israeli people. He knows.
Entire career and life supported the Israeli people. What did I tell you guys? They both pro-Israel. Now, some people do ask me, they say, do you think this war with Iran would have happened if Kamala Harris was president? I think Kamala Harris would have done what the Israeli lobby wanted her to do, who she also took a lot of money from. Do I think she would have done it in the manner that Trump did? Like, do I think she would have gone on Twitter instead of Truth Social and say, I'm going to end all their civilization and I'm going to get rid of all of them? No, I don't think she would have said that. The straight up moves, I feel like the straight up moves may not have been as big as an issue. Like maybe it would have been reopened a lot sooner. But do I think she would have struck the blow? What do you think? I'm going to show you what she also said, in particular about Iran. Just to bring you back.
That he's trying to again divide and distract from the reality, which is it is very well known that Donald Trump is weak and wrong on national security and foreign policy. It is well known that he admires dictators, wants to be a dictator on day one, according to himself.
Donald Trump does seem to think that he is king, right? Yeah, that's the crazy part. He does seem to think that he is king. But I'm going to show you what she said when she was asked, not about Gaza, but about Iran. Because for whatever reason, people tend to forget this interview here. Listen to this part about
establish that?
Well, there are different reasons that we should be thoughtful about each. Most recently, I think there's an obvious one in mind, which is Iran.
So notice the interviewer, this was the guy on 60 Minutes, he didn't even say Iran. He said, which country? And she said, the greatest is Iran. Listen to this.
And look, I mean, Iran has American blood on their hands, okay? And what we saw,
And that's not true. It's just like...
this attack on Israel, 200 ballistic missiles. What we need to do to ensure that Iran never achieves the ability to be a nuclear power, that is one of my highest priorities.
So if you have nuclear Iran, nuclear weapons, or take military action?
I'm not going to talk about hypotheticals this morning.
She told you that it was her highest priority. See what I mean? Not the working class. Not the health care, housing, things that working class people care about and need. Her highest priority was Iran. So yeah, of course, she wasn't going to tell you, yeah, I'm going to take military action against them. They're not going to say that, but she let you know. They do what their donors tell them to do. Kamala could have differentiated herself very much differently than, of course, Joe Biden and any of these neocons. When Kamala Harris ran for president in 2020, it was like that was a totally different person compared to her running in 2024. When she ran in 2020, she was talking about Medicare for all. She was talking about, the working class. She wasn't focused on, she didn't have a right-wing talking point about immigration. In fact, she was saying the exact opposite. She wasn't pro-fracking. But when she ran in 2024, she shifted further to the right, and she lost. Many also asked this question about Hillary Clinton. I want to tell you just a reminder, what Hillary Clinton said about Iran. This was 2008.
I want the Iranians to know that if I'm the president, we will attack Iran. Whatever stage of development they might be in their nuclear weapons program in the next 10 years, during which they might foolishly consider launching an attack on Israel, we would be able to totally obliterate them. That's a terrible thing to say, but those people who run Iran need to understand that, because that perhaps will deter them from doing something that would be reckless, foolish, and tragic.
There's Hillary Clinton saying she would obliterate the people in Iran, which is the same thing that Donald Trump is saying right now. So when it comes to war, ladies and gentlemen, both of these parties are pro-war.